welcome to the Small Business Week Extravaganza, the virtual experience. This is our first panel talk. We're going to be talking about navigating the entrepreneurship journey, where we're going to be discussing successes and challenges and giving you the opportunity to share yourself. We invite you to shout out your business in the comments. Ask any questions that you have. We have a panelist of experts right here to answer your questions and to inspire you and empower you in your entrepreneurship journey. That's why we are here. So with no further ado, I have so many of our speakers, some of them that you have already heard from, have already presented. If you have missed any of the presentation or any of the summits, definitely go to our Facebook page. Make sure you're on our Facebook page and click on the videos. Every day we move new talks to the feature section. And then we also have a playlist for this event on YouTube. So if you just want to go binge watch all of the videos, you can do that by going to our YouTube playlist. And so with no further ado, what I'm going to do is allow all of our speakers here on the panel to introduce themselves. I'm looking so forward to hearing from all of you all. Okay, so we're going to first start with who wants to introduce themselves first? Teresa? You're on mute. There you go.
I'm Teresa B. Wilson, and I have two businesses. I do Teresa B. Wilson Coaching, which I teach kingdom wealth and wealth building for Christians. And the other business I have is I own a Fantastic Sam salon. It's a franchise, and I live in North Carolina, so I'm a North Carolina girl.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson?
Hey everybody, Dr. Shaniqua Johnson here, aka Shaniqua Inspires, and I too am the owner of two businesses. I don't know why we have so many businesses. I guess we're just blessed with an abundance of ideas,
Yes.
and we're just creative, so we just have to start all of these different businesses. But I am the owner of A Better You LLC, which is a wellness strategy solutionist, accountability coaching industry where I'm helping busy, multitasking professional women, especially, reclaim their self-care. Taking better care of their minds, their bodies, and their spirits. And I'm also the CEO and owner of Stronger Through Faith Media, where I help people to birth their stories, their messages, and get it to the masses. So yeah, the dual entrepreneurs, we're in the house tonight. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
And Shaquana, she had such a wonderful talk. So if you missed it, definitely go check that out. Terrell?
There we go. So blessed to be here with you ladies this evening. I'm Terrell Sally Holloman, but you can remember me easier by saying Coach T with the red glasses, because I usually the rocking red some kind of way. But the name of my company is Living Loving You Well. I am a wellness empowerment speaker. I'm an author of Embarrassed to Empowered, a healing lupus story. I'm a blood type lifestyle health coach. I'm a wife and a mom. I live in New Jersey, and I really help professional women transform from feeling embarrassed and ashamed about their health conditions and the diagnosis to helping them become more empowered in a healing way and a sustainable, healthier lifestyle. And I do that through my books, through coaching, retreats, and speaking events. So that's who I am. Great to see you guys.
Amazing. Thank you. And I believe you have a talk coming up at 7
Yes.
o'clock. It's been a very busy day, like jam-packed with a lot of wonderful webinars today. Cassandra, hi.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Cassandra Hill. I am a master life coach and holistic health practitioner. I am the founder and CEO of Holistic Living Consulting, and I work primarily with minority women in a couple different ways. First, helping us to understand the importance of loving ourselves and knowing our worth. That's the key to any type of transformation, because honestly, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm in a state of dis-ease, if I don't value me, I could get all these strategies, all these solutions, but if I don't value me, I won't implement it. So that's what we do with Holistic Living Consulting. And in addition to being the CEO and founder of that, I am also a speaker and author, and I've been blessed to right now birth 4 books, and my fifth one will be coming out later this year, hopefully.
Awesome. Congratulations and welcome, Pat.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pat Schultz, and I'm a coach as well. I help women silence that voice in their head that says, you're not good enough, and turn up the power on their personal power, turn up the volume on their personal power that says, you are absolutely worth it. And in addition to being a personal coach, I'm also a certified speaking coach. And that was the presentation I shared as part of this extravaganza. I love to work with women who have a story to tell, who want to make an impact with their message. And I teach them how to deliver it so that they do make the big impact that they want to make.
Awesome. And you had such a wonderful presentation on communication, just how you broke everything down. And I just allow me to reflect back on previous talks that I've given, and just thinking about how I come across when I'm communicating with others. So that was so powerful. Elizabeth, hi.
Hello, everyone. I am Elizabeth Smith. I am the insurance lady. I have a passion of helping people and educating them on the importance of protecting what's important to them. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm a mother of 4 beautiful children, and I love what I do. I get the pleasure of meeting people all over the place, all over the world, and just finding out their passion, what they do, and just making sure that their foundation is sure. I am a Texan in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm looking forward to this. And thank you so much, Shantae, for this opportunity.
You're welcome. And you gave the talk on business insurance, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was so thankful for that, because that's just so important. These are some of the less sexy things that we
Yeah.
need to be thinking about and prioritizing, but oftentimes they go miss. And it's not until after the fact, when we find ourselves in a situation that where we should have had these things and we didn't. It can be very devastating. So getting the word out and helping bring awareness and educating people on the business owners on the importance of having insurance, both life insurance and insurance
Yes.
in their business, is as far as protecting your assets. And
That's
all of
right.
us have assets and we must protect them. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and introducing yourselves. Audience, I just want to remind you, we see you all out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We welcome your comments, shout out your business, ask your questions, and tell us about your business and your business journey in the comments. We look forward to hearing from you. And then share this out, tag your business bestie, so that they can be part of this conversation. We don't do these things enough as business owners. And so we're coming together, celebrating. And again, we want to empower you. Now that I have you all here, again, we have women here, amazing women. And you talked about what you do. I know everyone has their own unique journey. So I would like to hear from some of you ladies on your particular journey. Like, what actually inspired you to pursue the path that you are currently on? Who would like to share first?
Well, I don't mind. I
Okay,
don't mind sharing. Just like you mentioned before, the topic of insurance is not always that topic that everybody wants to embrace. Sometimes people push it away and don't want to have those discussions. But my passion actually derived from having my own personal experience. I did share some of that in the presentation. My father was a pastor of 2 churches, a successful business owner, and looked up to by many people. However, he didn't have that person that he could trust to help him in the areas of insurance. And unfortunately, when he passed in 97, he died without an active life insurance in place. Me being the youngest of several children, I was in college at the time, and my mother had been a homemaker pretty much all of my life. So after the aftermath, the funeral and all that, we had to live on. Having active life insurance policy in place would have helped sustain the businesses and our household. But literally, my mother had to pick up and start working. So when I graduated, I knew I was going into entrepreneurship. I just didn't know what area. I've been a leader in everything I've been in, from grade school on up. But the insurance opportunity presented itself, and I had a story that goes with it. So then from that point on, I was on a mission to just reach people, as many as I can, to let them know how important it is to have insurance in place, and how important it is and how much of a difference it can make. Because many of us haven't heard about leaving a legacy like that, or having an inheritance. That's like something we watched on TV growing up. But with a simple life insurance plan in place, you can actually do that. And of course, there's living benefits as well. But that's my story in short.
That's amazing. So you turned a life situation and made it your passion to help other people avoid the situation that your family was in. So
Yes.
I really like that.
Thank
Teresa?
you.
I grew up in extreme poverty, and my dad went to prison. And when my dad went to prison, it really left us devastated. And so from there, he came back from prison, got saved, radically changed our life, and started a business. And when he started a business, it changed everything for us. So it really lit me up when it came to entrepreneurship. I saw how fast you can go from nothing to something. So fast forward, my husband and I had a business, and we gave it up for the call of the Lord, because everybody tells you have to give it up for the call of the Lord because of the rich young ruler giving up everything. So we did that. We ended up being one paycheck from being homeless. And so I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, why did you bring me here for me to be homeless? Because I'm working for a ministry. My husband and I both were working for a ministry, and we were broke. And through that, the Lord gave me a strategy, which I call supernatural wealth, which is really not supernatural wealth. It's really biblical principles that if you do it, you can achieve the same thing every single time. So this brings me to the talk that I'll be doing tomorrow on opportunity plus tenacity. Most of the time, what happens is most Christian people expect for the windows of heaven to open and money just fly in your house. And that's not how it happens.
Right.
Supernatural wealth happens with opportunities. So if you see an opportunity, I saw an opportunity in April of last year. It's been 1 year. It took me 6 months of tenacity. Because I couldn't get the money. I couldn't borrow the money from a small business loan. We didn't have the credit. We didn't make enough to borrow the money to buy this new business. So I asked everybody. I asked realtors. I asked people in business. I asked investors. I asked everybody. And the regional owner of the franchise saw my tenacity, called me on the phone. He said, I am going to work with the owners, and I'm going to do this deal for you. So he stepped up, did the deal for me after 6 months. Everybody was telling me, if I were you, I'd quit. If I were you, I would just quit. I would just quit. Mm. So then after the regional owner did the deal to buy the business, then when I go to get the lease, they're like, yeah, you got denied. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have the last say. God does. So, the owner of the one who does the lease comes to this salon to get her hair done. So my friend that's in the salon went to bat for me and said, look, you need to take a chance on her. You need to take a chance on her. You will not regret the chance you take. So through that, she said, okay, I'm going to take a chance on your word. So I've been in this franchise business for 6 months. And it has been life changing. It's just been life changing. But so many people have an opportunity and they don't know that that's God trying to give them prosperity. So what they'll do is they're like, yeah, I don't have the money for that. Yeah, I can't afford that. But God's saying, hey, say yes to the opportunity and we can figure out the rest later. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Amen. That tenacity,
Right.
right? Going after the opportunity, not accepting no, like, and keep going for it. I love that. And I know all of us need to hear that on here. Everybody that's tuning in needs to hear that, because that is so true. That is how you're going to be successful, because you're going to come up against challenges, people and things that are telling you this is not possible, it can't be done, and not for you. But who are you going to believe, right? And so that is amazing. That is amazing. So I'll let one other person share their story into entrepreneurship and how you got here to this point. Who wants to share?
Sure.
Pat?
So I discovered that my mom, she passed away at almost 90 years old. And after she passed away, my son was going through her possessions and he discovered a term paper she had written when she was working on her master's. And part of the assignment in the term paper was to describe her ideal life 5 years into the future. And she described this beautiful dream of retiring on a Caribbean island with a handsome gentleman. She described her house and the furniture. And I'm reading this and realized she had never lived her dream. She never did that. And it really hit home to me because she wrote that paper when she was in her 60s. And I'm like in my 60s reading her paper. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And I wanted to help people see that their dreams were in fact possible, that it wasn't just something you dream about and they don't come true. And so that was the motivation for me to really increase my coaching practice. And I wanted the opportunity to share my message. And so that's why I went to become a transformational speaker, why I did that certification. I thought, well, if I want to speak, I want to get really good at this. And what is so amazing is when I heard about the opportunity to go to the Transformational Speaker Summit in Palm Springs, California, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. You know what went through my mind? It's too much money. It's nobody's going to like me when I get there. I'm too old. I'm too fat. Nobody's going to like my message. And I almost didn't go, but I did. I bought the plane ticket. I made the hotel reservation. I even paid extra so that I could present on stage and have judges critique my speaking. And it's life-changing. And I see so many people on the verge of doing something that would be life-changing for them. And they back out of it because they think they're too old, too young. They don't have the money. They don't have the skills. And that just isn't the case. And I want to not just realize that they can have their dream, but give them some practical steps that they can follow so that they can make progress toward it. And I love seeing people succeed.
So that's what we can do here today, is share some tips on helping us all get closer to accomplishing our dreams, knowing that we wouldn't have a dream, right? We wouldn't have the visions we have if we were not made to bring them to reality. So I want people to understand that. Well, thank you so much. I wanted to talk about success, because in this day and age, there's a lot of glitz and glam around entrepreneurship. Social media, it has its good and it has its bad. But I think a lot of times with social media, there's a lot of people wearing masks, or just showing up at their uh like their representative, their best self. So it's hard for people to understand, I think, sometimes what is success, or they're trying to determine their personal success based on someone else's success. And so I just want to go around and give you all the opportunity to, one, let us know, like, what is success to you, and if you can share a success that you've had in your entrepreneurship journey, um, that can help inspire our community. So, what is success to you personally, and just share a success that you've had in your journey.
Sure. I would like to share what success means to me.
Awesome.
For me, for so many years, I felt my voice was suppressed, whether I was a student in college or even when I entered corporate America. I just felt like my voice wasn't heard, that I was in environments where I was tolerated instead of celebrated. So now, as an entrepreneur, I look at success as being able to amplify my voice, and not only mine, but the women I'm called to serve. And when I think about that, is as you mentioned, social media causes us to compare, but you're just seeing the highlight reel, So for me, my success is mine. The goals that I'm reaching, it doesn't matter what the next sister is doing. Kudos to her, but my success is contingent on the goals that I've set for myself. And one of the things that I've been really focused on is visibility. And so I'm super excited that one of my goals that I set in regards to visibility is becoming true, because yesterday I just got accepted into NASDAQ's Milestone Circle program. But, just believe in yourself and you determine what success is for you.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for joining, Norma. Hi, author Jacqueline Levy. We see you all out there. Anyone else want to share their definition of success?
I'd
And
like to
I
share.
would like to.
Oh, Sorrel, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Terrell,
you.
and then Shaquana.
Okay, great. This is a great question, Shantae. I really appreciate you bringing this to the forefront, because that's definitely true what Cassandra said about social media. And unfortunately, as new entrepreneurs get on the scene, they kind of get dismissed, and there's fear, coming in because they see all the glitz and glamour after the person has done all the things, right? And we know entrepreneurship is hard. You're doing literally everything. You're
Yeah.
doing everything: the back office, the promotion, the sales, the accounting, the taxes. I'm doing all of that because I have a background in accounting and finance. So I'm literally doing all of that. But at the same time, my value comes for success is impact. I remember a couple of things I wanted to share. One thing in particular, my husband, we've been together 37 years, married. He'll be 35 this year. And he's seen my
Wow.
journey. He's been a part of my journey. And I always say I'm married to one man, one man for this length of time. But I remember when I went through the process of writing this book, and God was like, okay. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So I got help. I got a Kingdom Publishing an author to help me through the process. And when the book got published, I remember my husband saying to me, why did you what's like the outcome you want from this book? Do you want to be a bestseller? I mean, what's the real deal, hon? And I was like, listen, I'm not really looking to be a bestseller. I'm looking for the fact that the impact. Once they read this book, I want them to take action on the steps to get themselves healthy. Because especially in the world of systemic lupus or just lupus, there's a lot of different ones. There's 1.5 million people dealing with this. And if God blesses me to have everyone have that book just to read it and get some feedback and start doing what they need to do to get healthy, then a lot of people would have been blessed by me being here, because there was some time about 25 years ago when I was literally on the verge of dying. Okay, my physician said, if you don't do what I asked you to do, you will die, Terrell. And that woke me up. And I would say success also comes from visibility, like you said, Cassandra. I didn't have a voice, but I remember a time in another platform, and I don't know who's using it now, Clubhouse. I had the opportunity to be part of a magazine called First for Women. It's a subsidiary of Women's World. You might have seen it when you went grocery shopping on, next to the people and all that other stuff. But I had an opportunity last 2 years ago in March to be presented in a feature article in 2022 with Valerie Bertinelli on the cover. And I thought for me, I was one of those girls that have these dreams, and I would put stuff around on a board. I guess they call them vision boards, right? I call them goals. And I always wanted to be in a magazine, and I had the opportunity to do so. So that's just one success. I'm sure we have a lot more that we can talk about, but I just thought about that right now. And to me, one way to have my voice in an article, and that started me propelling with regard to the book also. So thank you so much. Go ahead, Doctor.
Thank you.
That was such a powerful story. And I was not aware that May is Lupus Awareness Month, because in May, I'm always the advocate for mental health. So my apologies. As a registered nurse by profession, I had that oversight. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, because it's necessary. For me, my definition of success was freedom. But see, here's the caveat behind that. Depending on where your mindset is, it's going to dictate how you view freedom. So let's go back to, just me and my journey. My last corporate job was a corporate facilitator, and I was making top salary. In fact, I was capped. I love a job that tells you we don't have no more money to pay you, but be great anyway. But I was working at a job, and I was doing my best. I was happy to be there. Everything was so, just glittering gold. Everything was perfect to me. And on the side, I was working my business, but my business started to pick up. And so it started to feel like I was feeling a weight. And so I remember working, getting up in the morning, logging into the corporate computer to do my trainings, once they sent us all home during the pandemic. And I used to get on my treadmill because I got to keep my health and wellness going while I'm sitting all day and all of this. So I would get on my treadmill, and I put up on the wall right in front of my treadmill, I put the word freedom. Because even though I was happy at my 9-to-5 job and I was happy in building my business, I didn't feel like I was free. I felt like I was a hamster on a wheel, and I was just going nowhere really, really fast. My momentum was up, but I really wasn't getting to where I wanted to be. And I remember I used to get on that treadmill, and I would just be running towards that word freedom. Fast forward, my health took a toll because I put my job first. I wouldn't go to doctor. Mind you, I'm a registered nurse by profession. Like, let's just not forget that tidbit of information. Why? Because I put my health and wellness behind the job. I put it behind the business. And I just thought that, because I'm a nurse, like osmosis was just going to make me well. And I wouldn't even go to doctor's appointments. I would check my work schedule first before I would schedule a doctor's appointment. I ended up having to have surgery, and it put me out on disability. And during that time on disability, God had to have a strict talk with me and was like, you are definitely going nowhere fast. And so divinely, I made the decision that I was going to walk away from my corporate job, my 6-figure salary, to focus on myself. So although I had been in business since 2013, this newfound revelation, this newfound mindset came a year ago. This month makes 1 year that I've been working as a full-time entrepreneur. But here's the thing. When I had the money, I had the 6-figure salary, I didn't think I was free because I wasn't able to run my business the way I had liked.
Right.
But then when the money wasn't there, I had all of the time to focus on my business, and I had no money. It was
Right.
like, you're still not free. Like, what are we doing here? And then finally, God had to take the scales off of my eyes, and He says, freedom is here. Freedom is in your mind. And if you believe you're free, then you're free. And so that's why I changed to say success is freedom, but you have to have the eyes to see it. Being able to wake up, to serve in the capacity in which you want to, serve, to be able to make the impact, to be able to get the visibility, all of that is defined under freedom. But if you're so weighted down by the worries of the world and society and business and work, if you're so weighted down, you're going to miss it. And I'm just thankful that I did not progress in that same mindset, because that mindset was a killer. So for me, I am actually now walking in my freedom, and it has nothing to do with money.
That's amazing. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And what that looks like is different for everyone, right?
Yes.
What that looks like, what freedom looks like is different for everyone. What success looks like is different for everyone. Now I have a question, because I know everyone that's in business at some point, because you mentioned there was points in your business where you're on a high, you're making money, and there's times that you're on a low. Maybe you're not making as much money, you're not getting as many clients, the opportunities, you don't think that they're coming in the way that they should be coming. And I'm just going to give an example, because I want to just hear your perspective of how you've handled what type of situation you've been in and how you handled it. Like for us, and I'm gonna go back to COVID too. So for 2020, 2021, 2022, we were really riding the roller coaster. I mean, I would say riding the wave, right? We were doing so well on the incline. And then 2023, like as people are coming like out of the COVID downturn, there was a major shift that I noticed that impacted my business. So it wasn't that I wasn't making money, but things that I was doing that was working wasn't working. Okay. And and then I'm such a believer in, assessing and doing the tweaks, reworking the formulas, what I tell people to do, right? So you don't give up, but there's something you need to do. If it's not working, you figure out what is going to work. My question is, have you ever experienced a time in your business that you didn't feel like you were achieving the goals that you set out to achieve in your business, where you were discouraged? And if you've encountered that type of experience, what did you do to overcome it?
I would like to answer that because I feel like in everybody's journey, there's going to come a place where the rubber meets the road, where the high disappears, and you got to be in it for the long haul, not just for the short run. And the one thing when you were talking about social media that I see this like, oh, make $250 in 30 minutes or an hour. It's a pie in the sky dream. It's not realistic. And realistically is you're going to put in a lot of hours. And I know when I first bought the salon that I have now, I worked 30 days straight. It was not a dream. It was like, because I inherited all of the problems. The reason people sell stuff is because of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I inherited all of these problems, but I needed to know the systems really quickly. So I worked every single day, including Sunday, for 30 days straight. And I was exhausted and I was tired mentally, physically, spiritually. But I knew that I had to get in there to do these things, even though it was discouraging because I wasn't seeing the progress that I wanted to see. I wasn't, the people, kind of look at you side-eyed when I came in as the new owner, right? And they're like, yeah. And so when I try to implement things, they were not on board with me implementing anything. Anything. And it was discouraging. And I was like, oh my goodness, because the other owners weren't there. And here I am, I come in to their space and they're like, But in that, I was like, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. You know, this is my opportunity. This is my business, and I'm going to keep going whether you like the fact that I'm here or not. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to keep going, and I did until at the point that I knew it could. I could pull back and only work a few days a week. And the other thing too is I think some people go into entrepreneurship and they think, well, I'm going to work 2 hours a week and then I'm going to be a multimillionaire.
Mhm.
And that never works out, right? Because you've got to be active in it. So I think for me, that was one of the things is at the beginning, the reception that I received was not a welcomed one.
Man, and that can be devastating, and it can cause people to quit real quick. So the word you said about what you said about being in there for the long term, for the long game,
Right,
and many people have a short mindset, like they only know for the short term, right?
right.
But if it's that, if you get to understand the different challenges that come with running a business, you'll be running for the hills in a day.
Yes, you will.
Like, you'll be if you are not super clear on why you're in business and what your why is, and that why is super strong to overcome fear, doubt, naysayers, negativity, the things you say to yourself. If that is the case, you're going to be out real quick. And because there's such fantasy on social media, I'm glad we're here to talk about what it's really like to be a business owner. You're living the dream, but it doesn't feel like one.
Right,
No.
It don't feel
Yeah.
like one.
Yeah.
right.
Why you
Yeah.
doing it? Even when it don't feel like it, you have to keep at it. You have to keep at it. So that's the power of resilience and believing in the dream, to not let outside distractions and people interfere with what it is that you're doing. I love that. I love that. Anyone else want to share?
I wanted to share this 'cause you made a great point, Teresa. And you have a franchise. So they have usually some kind of model with a franchise. And I know your salon is different too. But as an entrepreneur, when you start from scratch and you don't have a plan or you don't have a blueprint and you're trying to figure this out, I changed my business literally 3 times before I came to where I'm at right now. And I've been in business, what, maybe 3 years, right? So I'm just now starting to understand, okay, this is what Terrell needs to do. This is what Terrell needs to do, and keep those, I don't want to say blinders on, but not compare myself to someone else, because God made me unique. He made me uncommon and unorthodox. And I am magnificent, and I know I'm a masterpiece of Him. So I have to continue to seek Him in the decisions I do for my business each and every day. But there was times like, I'll give you an example what happened to me recently. Last year I had a health retreat, beautiful health retreat. The women enjoyed it. Everybody had a good time. I did a feedback analysis, so I know what to do for this year. This year comes and I'm doing the same. Now, you talked about this, Shantae. I'm doing the same thing that I did last year in order to attract and people pay and all this other stuff, right? So I had already from last year put a deposit down on the location. It's non-refundable. Non-refundable. I'll make sure you guys hear this. It's non-refundable. So this year I'm doing the same thing. Okay. I'm thinking I'm rolling with the oil. Things are going to happen. Women are going to be popping up. Da, da, da. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way this year, and I had to cancel it. So I'm out of money. I done lost money. Okay. And I said, I'm going to refund people their money that paid us, a certain amount. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, God, what the heck happened? What happened from last year to this year?
Yes.
Was there a drought? Was there a hurricane? What? And I was speaking to my business coach about this, and she said, she's so sweet. She's like, okay, Coach T, yes, it didn't work. And she said, I want you to get discouraged. I'm not discouraged. I said I was not discouraged. It's just that I just didn't know where to tweak it at. So now we're working on for next year that I need, well, not need, well, we're going to have what we call divine helpers. I'm going to have sisters that are going to come in and we're going to work together so that next year, wherever I decide to go, I have a team of people. Because last year I did everything by myself. I thought that's what you're supposed to do for a health retreat. That's what I did. So this year I know a little bit different, so that next year when I host it, or I'll I'll actually implement. I'm looking at this year to do 1 day or half days to build up to the big one next year. So that's another idea for this year for me to do. But like you said, sometimes it's tweaking and thing. But I'm just laughing at myself now that you said that. It doesn't always go as scripted. It doesn't always go how you wanted it last year, but you still got to stay there knowing that what you're doing is ordained by the Lord and you're aligned with what you're supposed to do. And don't give up. Don't quit. Too often I feel people are right there and then they stop and then the blessings are gone because God said, listen, I done told you, daughter, you got to keep going. There are people, I really feel there are people out there, ladies, that are looking for you, that are supposed to be with you in your business. So don't quit. Don't give up. Ask for help. If if
Yeah.
you're at the point, ask for help. So I have a community now that's going to help me with this launch next year.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I,
awesome.
I just wanted to add just a little bit because I'm Teresa. I'm gonna call you Miss Tenacity because you're right. Everything I just see it going, but that is so needed. Everything that y'all are saying is firing me up because it's encouraging. A lot of times people don't talk about the downside. They always talk about the upside, and people say it all the time. You don't know the story behind my glory, okay? But we definitely got to go back sometimes, and I think it's important in any relationship that you have. In this business relationship that we have, we got to go back to our why. Like, what was the reason I started this? And sometimes that's all you need to is revisit that to give you that extra push, because faith is not what we see. And we gotta, just believe, and like you said, remember who gave you this assignment and keep pushing, just keep pushing, because work without resisting is not work. So we got to know that it comes with it. It comes with it. But the other thing that I was writing down because I didn't want to forget is sometimes we got to just take time out and plan and just write it down again, rewrite the vision, read what we wrote, and take that time aside and go back to the basics, because things start coming and piling up, and before we know it, like you said, we wear, I call it a coat of many colors, because we're doing so many things and our hands are in everything. But sometimes we got to step back and look at the big picture. And my mother said to me sometime in the past, she said, the higher you get, the more you'll see. And so sometimes we have to pull back and just see things from a different perspective. And then that will help us to navigate where we're going, and always stay connected to the one that gives you strength. And that's all I have to say on that.
That's awesome. Yeah, some Norma is saying, "Don't quit, don't give up." She's like, "I receive it. Thank you." That's so important because I can say all day, like, I would never give up. I'm too scared to give up because of what Terrell said. I feel like success is here and I'm right here, right? And I'm just like, I might be right here. I can't give up. But not giving up does not mean that you can't take a step back, that you can't pause. It doesn't mean you can't adjust. It doesn't mean that you can't redirect, because a lot of times those things are necessary, because again, this is a journey that we're on. This is a process, and let me tell you, the higher you go, the more challenges you're going to experience. It's just like school. It's just like when you're in kindergarten, you go to that next level and you're like, oh my goodness, this is harder. Or you're in middle school and you're like, high school, oh my God, this is hard. What about college? Oh my God, can I do that? Right? Because if it were easy, everybody would be doing this entrepreneurship thing. So that tells you should just go ahead right now and celebrate yourself for being in the game, for not taking yourself out, for not giving up. Because I can tell you, I'm just going to be honest. Some of these days, and people see me, I'm jovial, I'm happy, I'm doing a lot, I'm successful, but it's a lot of times that I feel like I'm defeated. Like, I want to cry, and I do cry, right? And I'm like, man, should I give up this thing? Like, I'm ready to just throw in the towel, but I cannot. So I'm motivated. And sometimes you have to do it even when you lack motivation. When there's nobody else around you to motivate you, what do you do? So that's my question. What do you do? when you
Yeah.
You
love that
discipline
motivation.
yourself.
Yeah.
You
So
discipline
Shantae,
yourself.
oops, sorry. When I started my training business over a decade ago, my family kept saying, "Why don't you get a real job? Why don't you get a real job?" Because nobody in my family is an entrepreneur. All right. And it's so many naysayers are out there. And you have to be self-motivated. You have to get up early, you need to get dressed, you need to sit down, and you need to do your work whether you feel like it or not. You can't say, "Oh, well, I don't have a job to go to, so I'm just going to sleep in today." If you're not working your business, you're not going to make money, and you still have to pay your bills. And so you have to be very disciplined and very motivated. And a lot of people can't do that. They're at home and they get distracted by other things. You have to plan your workday unless you choose ahead of time to take the day off or you have a doctor's appointment or whatever. But you can't just blow around, "Well, I don't feel like doing it." You've got to be self-disciplined and self-motivated, whether you
Yeah.
like it or not, whether the day goes well or not, whether yesterday went well or not, because you're it.
With
Yeah.
that,
That's it.
that's great.
And you're
And
not
Yeah.
only going to get the support of the people around you, and not only do you not get their support, but they're naysayers.
Right.
They're digging at your self-esteem. They're feeding into your self-doubt, and you have to be strong.
Yeah.
I would like to
Yeah.
add to that. One thing is, I had a great mentor tell me one time that you don't do, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm doing the best I can." She said, "You don't do the best you can, you do what it takes. That's what you do to
Right.
be successful."
Amen.
And the other thing was when you were talking about, you're right there, it's called 3 inches from gold. And used to, when they would mine for gold, they would give up and they would be within 3 inches of hitting the treasure chest. And so I'm like you, Sante, I am within 3 inches of gold and I'm going the distance. I am
Right.
going
Yeah.
the distance.
I
Yeah.
love
I
that.
also wanted to say that this kind of group and these type of things are beneficial to plug into. And I heard Terrell say like she had a business coach and she had, people that she can tap into. Having a community where you can do that is so important because it encourages. It doesn't matter what type of business you have, but talking to one business owner to another, you can share and it helps you. It helps you get over those humps and those valleys that we know are there. So again, Shantae, kudos to you and everything that you do. So I'm glad that God already put it in you not to give up, because if you did, we'll be looking at you some crazy.
Right.
And think about this, Shantae. If you gave up, we wouldn't be on this talk right now. So, and we're
Exactly.
helping probably thousands of people right now that are looking or seeing the replay later.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to expound on what you just said, and Terrell, what you mentioned about when you were putting on these events, because if anybody knows about putting on events, I never gave up doing events. I actually had to pause this one due to COVID. But whether it's events or anything else you're doing in this business, what I try to get entrepreneurs to understand is we have to get out of doing everything by ourselves when you don't have to, and nor should you. I mean, a lot of times we and that puts you at a disadvantage. You were not meant to. Yes, you started the business yourself. You had the idea, you had the unction, you're doing the work, but it's not meant for you to do it on your own. There is not one successful person that I know of that did it by themselves. So you hear this word self-made, okay? But no one does it by themselves. It takes people, a support team. It could be a person over here, it could be a family, friend, peer, advisor, some support system. So I wanted to talk about that in team building. And it could be an employee, it can be you're bringing on a team of employees, it could be contractors, collaborators. But the thing is that we need each other in order to be successful. And so I just wanted to hear from the panel on your experiences and your thought process on getting the help. First of all, admitting that you need help, because people are afraid to even admit the help. If you can't admit that you need help, it's hard for you to get it until you say, I need the help, and you surrender, right? So
That's the
let's
word.
talk about being vulnerable enough to admit that you need help. And then what steps have you taken or can you recommend that people can take to get help and the support system that they need so that they can be successful?
Sure. For me, my business, I've been in business 6 years now. And so when you get to a certain space in your business, if your vision is big enough, you will need support. There's just no way you can do it by yourself. One of the things I recommend is building community, because as you build community and build relationships, in those conversations, you're learning someone else needs, and they're learning yours. And that's a organic way to attract collaborations, partnerships. As I mentioned earlier, the visibility. I know for me, God has blessed me to be in a place now to where I get people reaching out to me. I'm doing partnerships with various companies, and they're reaching out to me. So the more visible you are, you'll attract those like-minded organizations, corporations where you share a similar audience, and you can leverage each other's platforms to grow your business. But even if you're in a space, I know for me, I don't have employees yet. I'm full time in my business, but I have contractors. But start somewhere. Don't use the excuse you don't have the money. Because if that's what you believe in your mind, you'll never have the money. You just invest. And as you invest in yourself and in your business, that's when your business will start growing.
Mm-hmm. That's called a ROI, girl. Return on investment. Invest, invest. I can tell you up front, I already invested at least $30,000 to $40,000 in coaches, programs, courses, just to get this going. And like I told you, I already three different avenues on where I'm at right now. And yeah, some of them I reflect back and like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have hired that person. But other ones I'm like, yeah, I learned a lot. I learned more about myself in terms of that fixed versus growth mindset, in terms of how to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, how to take charge with maybe legal things, account, all the things. Because, like you said, as an entrepreneur, you have all these ideas, but we do need community so that you can bounce and brainstorm.
Yes.
I have accountability partners in my community. And if I say something like, okay, this month, for example, and I know they're going to talk to me about this quarter, my intention is to do a book launch, a virtual one, because I did a in-person one. And I had my interns start researching for me what I needed to do. So I have to go back to my community because I know June is coming. June is what, next month? I got to have something on the table with a date, and doing the social media and reaching out to people personally that I'm having this virtual book launch. So it's also when I feel like you said, Cassandra, when you start availing yourself to serve other people as they serving you, the attention and the intention, I should say, the intention is that people will reach out to you because they see what you do and you become more visible. And word of mouth in terms of speaking that person's name in other rooms that they're not in also helps. I didn't even know that people are speaking my name in other rooms until somebody mentioned it to me. I'm like, oh gosh, I didn't realize I had that impact on that person. But that's beautiful because as time goes on, people will reach out and say, hey, can you do this? Can you handle this? We go into collaboration with this? Which has been happening. But like we all said here, all in the same time, it takes work. It's not like you said, Pat, you go for a doctor's appointment and then the day is done. I still come back, and I have a lot of doctor's appointments, okay? I still come back and work. And my husband's like, wait a minute. I'm looking at the time, T. Time to wrap up a little bit. It's getting a little bit late for you to go to bed. But at the same time, I have to recognize having harmony in my relationships, especially with my marriage. I have adult children, so they're out on their own, but also the relationships that I'm involved with in terms of bringing quality work to them, and also valuing myself in terms of setting boundaries too. So this has been a wonderful conversation, Shante. You got to do this again, girl.
Yes. Well, we are. We have another panel talk on Friday.
Right?
These go so quick. There's so much more we can definitely talk about, but we need to close out. So I'm going to end it with, if everyone could just give like one tip advice on how entrepreneurs and business owners can be more impactful in their business. Teresa.
To me, one way that you can be more impactful is to realize the people around you are real people and treat them that way. Everybody wants to be treated with kindness and respect. And if you understand that your business is a people business, and if you don't like people, don't get into a people business, because what you do matters. But the people will do business from people they know, like, and trust. So that's what you need to form in your clients, do that they know you, they like you, they trust you. And so that is the main thing for me.
Yes.
Spot on.
I would have to say that you need to be true to yourself. You cannot be everything to everyone, and not everybody is going to like you. This is coming from a people pleaser since I was 4 years old, okay? And I have to work on that. But if you are everything to everyone, you'll be nothing to no one. I mean, you won't be anything to, you have to decide, this is what I stand for. This is what I'm going to do. People who don't want that will go someplace else, and that's okay. But
Yes.
the people who want what you offer, they're going to come to you because only you are offering that the way they want it. And that was a difficult lesson for me to learn.
Thank
No, I
you.
love that, Pat. I'll
Anyone
say
else?
this. Yeah, I'll say this. As an entrepreneur or business owner, take your health seriously. We already heard Dr. S testimony with regard to that. Mine was very similar. Take your health seriously, because think about it like this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we have gentlemen watching and seeing the replay. If you are not here and you do not take care of your health, because I starts for illness, right? And W stands for wellness. We want more wellness than illness, because if you're ill, you cannot possibly be an entrepreneur, because you're sick in bed or you're sick in the hospital, or God forbid you're dead. So take care of your health first and foremost. Regardless of what you're doing, take care of your health.
And then I would like to add to listen. In order to be impactful in business, you got to listen. Listen to your audience, listen to your customer, and then honestly provide what it is that they're wanting. Don't be so fixated on your products, whatever that is, whether it's a service or not. Listen, because no one likes to be sold. But if you educate people, they'll make the decision to choose you if you're I heard someone say a sheep follows, the voice that they're hear, right? My sheep are known by my voice. My sheep know my voice. So a stranger they will not follow. Some people are out there listening for you and your voice. So let your voice be heard, but at the same time, listen to your audience so you can be most helpful to them.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on what Elizabeth said. For entrepreneurs, open your mouth. A lot of times the reason why you don't have clients is because you don't open your mouth. People don't know what you do. They go on your social media pages and they looking around. They see your kids, they see your dog, they see what you're eating on tonight for dinner, but they don't know what you do. So you have to consistently say to people what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, and how it is that you serve. And that shyness, yeah, you can be a shy entrepreneur, but you got to push that to the side, because you've got to be able to open your mouth and tell people. You can be shy after after you make the video, after you do the interview, after you show up, then you can go back to being shy. But you really do have to open your mouth and let your unique, as Pat was saying, your unique story be heard, because there's a certain sound that the people are listening for. And everybody on here could be saying the same thing. We could get a script and we could read it, but they're waiting for the exact sound that's going to say, yep, that's my person. But if you keep your mouth shut because you think the market is oversaturated, because you think somebody else, oh, I wanted to do a retreat and someone else just did a retreat. Well, you should do a retreat also. right? There's enough room for everyone to get, but you have to open your mouth and you have to let the people know that you're there.
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth. So I'll close with this. You have to show up. Stop being the world's best kept secret. People need what you have to offer. They're literally looking for you and waiting for you to show up. Stop being America's or the world's best kept secret. You have something to offer the world. And like she said, ask for what you want. Show up, get visible. People need to see you. If they can't see you, they don't know what you're doing. They have no idea what you're selling or what you're offering or what your solution is. How are they going to buy? How are you going to help solve their problem if they don't know about you? So either they're not going to get what it is they need, or they're going to go to someone else when they needed to go to you. So show up, show up, show up, show up. And be the boss with amplified impact. Continue to enjoy the week of events. This is Small Business Week, National Small Business Week. This is the Small Business Week Extravaganza, the virtual experience. We're in the middle of the week. We got a few more days to go. Get involved, participate, catch the replays of these amazing speakers. Tune in to the ones that are forthcoming. Come back to this replay, #replay, and tell us what your takeaways were for this broadcast. And tag your bestie, your business bestie. Don't let your business besties miss out on this great information, this great experience. So we will see you for the rest of the event, and we'll see you again on Friday for our next panel talk. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening. Thank you.